We are efforting to get Matt Derrick from Chiefs Digest to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs as we preview teams across the NFL heading into the season. And the Chiefs are very interesting to me. You know, they obviously make the Tyreek Hill trade. He was a vital piece to the offensive puzzle. And you wonder how they're going to react to that. How much does that change the offense? And I think some people just look at it and say, oh, Patrick Mahomes. But it might not be that easy. Let's bring in Matt Derrick again. He joins us, Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports, 1140. Matt, thank you for the time. It is much appreciated. Let me ask you, how does the loss of Tyreek Hill impact this offense?
Well, it's going to be significant. I mean, there's no doubt. You talk to anybody in this organization and they will tell you this offense won't be the same. It's going to be different. It's just, will different be wasn't Tyreek Hill and that in the long run, maybe this is going to work out for this team as far as being a more multi-dimensional team rather than just going through Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. They're going to have more weapons and depend on more people.
One of the pieces that they brought in to make up for the loss of Hill was Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And I just came over from Wisconsin where I was watching and talking a lot about the Packers in my previous stop. And I thought that was a guy who was already one of the better deep threats in the league and had started to figure out his problems in terms of dropping the ball and was set to break out before some injuries slowed him down. Have you gotten a taste of what the Mahomes to MBS connection can be like on the deep ball?
Yeah, it seems like there's been some real chemistry there. I mean, those two guys started working out really in April down in Texas together. And it doesn't look like a couple of guys that are just started working together. I mean, it looks like they've been working together for quite a while as far as the chemistry that they've been able to get. Do you see some of the drops pop in that you hear about from Green Bay? Yeah, you do. But you also see some pretty good hands most of the time from MVS. And honestly, you see a little bit more multi-dimensional receiver. He wants to be more of a threat across the field and not just a deep threat. And we've seen that so far, both in OTAs and training camp so far.
Matt Derrick is with us. He's from Chiefs Digest, following the Kansas City Chiefs beat. Matt, how much pressure? You mentioned this team doing it differently on offense this year. How much pressure is on Andy Reid and Mahomes to keep this offense at their expected level, which, of course, is really high given the last few years?
Yeah, I don't know how much pressure there necessarily is. I think that both these guys have a great deal of confidence that this offense is going to plug along. I mean, I think that they will both be very surprised if this offense doesn't continue to be one of the top 5 offenses in the league. There's just a tremendous amount of confidence there, and they've got a lot of confidence in the guys that Brett Veach has brought in. I mean, they've got faith in Juju Smith-Schuster and MVS, like you talked about. But on down the line, I mean, with Clyde Edwards-Helaire and even some of the other receivers and weapons they had a lot of faith in this offensive line. So I don't think that, anybody in this organization feels a ton of pressure. I mean, I feel like that for the most part, they're pretty confident. I mean, we'll see if it's false confidence, if there's a reason to be worried about this team. But right now, they're projecting the feeling that they're going to be okay, and that this is going to work out, and that they're not going to miss too much of a beat.
How about on the other side of the ball? We've seen flashes of some pretty good play from the Chiefs defense over the years, but when they've come up short, it hasn't been because Patrick Mahomes and the offense couldn't score enough points. What have they done, and how much better do you think they are on the defensive side of the ball than what they have been in past years?
Yeah, General Manager Brett Veach has really made a concentrated effort to get younger and faster on defense. And, with that, they've certainly sacrificed some institutional knowledge and some leadership. I mean, they're going to miss Tyrann Mathieu. They will certainly miss the leadership of a guy like an Anthony Hitchens. But they bring in Justin Reed, who they feel can be a leader in his own right. Not Tyrann Mathieu, but, a different kind of guy. And, certainly maybe younger, a little bit quicker. Nick Bolton's a player that they really think is a high potential as a middle linebacker and a leader in that linebacker group. And Willie Gay, I think, is one of the more athletic linebackers in the league. It's just a matter of him kind of putting it all together. They've made an effort to get faster and quicker, and this draft is another great example of that. Trent McDuffie is a quick cornerback. They really like his speed and agility on the outside. George Karlaftis and Leo Chanel. A couple of quick Big Ten guys. I mean, they've made that effort to try and get younger and faster. And like I said, I mean, there's going to be some growing pains with this defense. But you got to feel like that the floor is a bit higher with this defense. The question is just, how high is the ceiling and how many rookie errors and mental, mistakes may they have to endure this year as part of this transition.
Matt Derrick previewing the Chiefs season here on Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports 1140. Matt, it's pretty funny that you bring up the rookie class, not in a ha-ha way, but it's actually what I was going to talk to you about, the defensive side of the football, and McDuffie and Karlaftis and Chanel. If those guys play, let's say, above average football, responsible above average football, how good do you think the defense could be? What is this ceiling?
I mean, if those three guys are impact players, and Karlaftis, say is at least in that 8 to 10 sack category. Leo Chanel maybe plays a kind of that role too. He's going to be more of a downhill player, so you're really talking about him being a run stuffer. If McDuffie can, he's not going to be a shutdown guy necessarily in year one, but if he can be an upgrade and a solid player on the opposite side from Jarius Sneed, who can deal with some of those bigger guys around the league at the receiver position, especially in the AFC. I mean, this could be, is it a top 5 defense? No. I mean, that's not where they're at yet. But could they be kind of on the cusp of top 12? Yeah, I mean, I think they could be in the upper third of the league if they play to, their potential and maybe do cut down on a lot of those errors early on and settle in. The question is just going to be how long. I mean, Steve Spagnuolo admits that his defense takes a little time to learn, and we've seen it with the Chiefs the last few seasons. It has taken them some time before they've gelled into the season, even the last couple of years. They just don't want it to be too long. Even in the Super Bowl season, it took about 8 weeks before the defense really gelled. They want it to be faster, and the faster that defense comes together, the higher the ceiling. But I mean, like I said, I think top third in the league is reasonable. It's a transition, though. I mean, it's still a defense that's rebuilding and reloading.
From your viewpoint, has the AFC West gained ground on the Kansas City Chiefs, or are they still the class of that division?
I mean, I'm still convinced that the Chiefs are going to be the favorite in the West until somebody knocks them off. I mean, 6 straight years, so that's a long enough time to be a top division. And honestly, there hasn't been a lot of challenge from within, but everybody's getting better. I mean, everybody's got a quarterback right now. I think every team in this division can get after the quarterback, which is certainly a problem. And if the only bigger problem is that I think the Chiefs probably have the least respected pass rush in the division right now. So I mean, there's no doubt that teams around them have gotten better. But once again, I mean, the two things that the Chiefs have, they got Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and those are two huge difference makers. So I'm still convinced that until somebody knocks them off, you got to consider them the favorites, even though I do think that this division has made some strides this offseason.
Matt, we appreciate the time. Be well. Enjoy the football season. Let's do this again soon.
I appreciate it, guys. Take care.
Thank you. There goes Matt Derrick from Chiefs Digest here on Cattles and Ramie. And, I